Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. This is the MJX X929H and we've seen this a lot. Just about everybody who posts videos on YouTube has seemingly received one of these little copters. And I've been flying it around, taking little breaks, flying around here and there. There's a few interesting things about it. One is this is one of the most stable quads that I've seen of this size, especially in the ready to fly category. And well, just to be thorough, you do get an extra set of props, got those tiny little paddles in there, and you get a USB cable, which is a standard micro USB cable. And we also get these prop guards. And I'll get one of these prop guards out. And they do something fairly interesting with this. They just snap on, which is kind of cool. But the problem is they don't really do anything. They're too thin. And they probably had to make these really thin because the whole quad isn't very powerful with these tiny little motors and the tiny little props. So don't expect those to do much, and I'm not going to use them. It does an auto take off with the center button, and then you can do flips and you can turn the lights on and off, and it's got a really bright LED right here in the front, and it flies very well. But what I want to know is if I stick on one of these little micro cameras that comes in a little over 3 grams, will it FPV? Start of a new series maybe? Let's find out. So it should be pretty straightforward. All we have to do is pull these props off and take off these bottom screws. I'm going to use my favorite micro pointer to get down in there, take out those screws, and then we have these little clips, and the top half should come right off. So I'm going to do that now. Okay, looks like we just got 2 more screws here. Here we have a look at the inside. We should be able to just solder on here and here to get our power for our micro camera. Maybe Dremel a little notch out of the side here. These 2 top plates don't seem to have a ledge or anything on them. Route our wire out around this way. Stick the camera to the top. We should be all set. Okay, we ran into a bit of an issue here that was unexpected. You see that I have a connector hanging out the side. Just made a little Dremel dent there so I could get my little lead out. And you'll note that I have the switch position in the off position. And this is why I have the connector, is that when you connect this up, and you'll see on the LED lights, if I can get this together with my fingers here, it's powered on. So this off switch isn't so much an off switch, it just kind of controls the LED, maybe the flight board. So even if you're not trying to FPV this thing, and you turn this thing off, it will probably have a dead battery when you come back to it anytime later. But let's proceed. This is kind of fun. I'm going to go ahead and I'll probably use I got a long lead, so I'm going to have to do something about that. But this was my plan after having to do all this, is maybe use I think I need to use a double stack of adhesive tape here to get the nose of the camera up out of the props. And I'll secure down this lead somehow. Maybe I'll go all the way around. Will that do it? Yeah, that will probably do it. So that's what I'll do. I'll wrap it around the belly. Doesn't really get in the way. Adds a little more weight than I wanted to. But let's see what happens. Here we are. We spin up the props. And of course, because you're seeing this video, it does. It does FPV. And it actually does it relatively reasonably. But as we head into the shop area, we're going to find a problem with really using it truly FPV. Oh no! Yeah, I lost control. The range on the radio isn't all that great. So you're going to need to keep this close in. And it's basically a line of sight flyer that I was just trying to have some fun with. And it does work.
but you're going to need to keep it probably in the same room that you're in. You're not going to be able to fly through a bunch of walls and explore your house and do all sorts of fun things that way. But if you've already got one of these, or you bought one, and you're thinking about getting into FPV, this might be a way you want to go. With a little bit of ingenuity and some very modest soldering, you can get a camera connected to this, and that's really all you have to do. And then you can buy a inexpensive pair of goggles like the Freebie VR01s, and for under $100 you're FPVing. And this one also has altitude hold. Oh, and here, right here, I've lost control again. I've gotten too close, too far away, I guess, and it spins around in that crazy yaw. That must have been the last command it kept. So it was kind of a fun little project that I took on, and just to take a break from other things. And when I was impressed so much with how well this thing flew just stock, I thought, well, I wonder what would happen if we put a camera on it. Can it tow a camera? You know, this camera comes in about 3.5 grams. It's the CM275T from Banggood, and you know, the image is pretty good. If you buy this thing in the form that does have a Wi-Fi monitor attached to the radio, and it also has a little built-in camera instead of the LED light on the front, from what I've seen, that image is really bad. And so if you're thinking about FPVing this thing at all, this is a much better option. You're going to get a much better picture. You're probably going to get a better quality of signal, and you'll be able to take that camera off and put it on other things if you want. But if you buy the version of this that's already got the camera built in, you're stuck with what you've got, and you can't use any of those parts really on anything else. Something else that surprised me, powering this 25 milliwatt VTX and camera combo, we're going to get a little over 4 minutes of flight. And there's some bits at the beginning and the end of this that you don't see, so you could probably get maybe upwards of 5 minutes of flight, possibly. Oh, we lost control there a little bit again. So I'm actually standing behind the door back there where it went down originally, back there in the unfinished part of the basement where we have storage and my little workspace. And I had fun with this. I wanted to show you the Maiden Flight because I was surprised, and it would have been nice. I should have set up a camera to kind of record my laughter as it took off. I didn't think to do that, and my apologies. I'll remember if I do anything like this in the future that I'll set up a camera to kind of record my reaction. Of course, the ones where it just won't work, we won't see that. That'll never make it to the channel. So I'm going to leave you with the rest of the flight footage. Thanks for watching. And if you have any ideas of things that I might have, things that I might be able to do something a little bit different with, I'm up for projects. I like to tinker. I spend my late nights when everybody else is sleeping, kind of playing around with RC and just kind of exploring it and having some fun. It's a good stress reliever for me, and it's just something I've always enjoyed doing. I like working with my hands, and I don't get to do that in my day job. Okay, thanks again.